Hi, guys. Welcome to the Even So podcast. My name is Lola,
My name is Jax.
and welcome. We're excited to have you guys listening in to our very first podcast.
Yeah, this is our very first podcast, man. I hope you guys enjoy it. We're just a couple giving our thoughts on different little topics and things like that. Total natural podcast, authentic. We're just going to be talking off the cuffs, and it's not going to be all that super editing stuff. It's just, we're just on the counts chilling, and we hope you guys will, come and kick it with us.
The key to the podcast for us is to be our authentic selves at all times, completely off script, and just really having intimate conversations with our listeners and having people join in on our daily conversations.
Yeah, so just a little background on me. My name is Jax. I'm 31 years old from Miami, Florida. And I see life from a different lens. I was a D1 athlete. We'll leave you guys on a quest to figure out exactly who I am or whatever. I know you guys might do a little background searching and typing in and things like that. But other than that, I was a D1 athlete from Miami, Florida. I met Lola over here in high school. And you guys can, learn more about our story. We kicked it off in ninth grade. I became the love of her life. I was the apple of her eye. She saw me as, a gladiator among a bunch of mere mortals. No, I'm just playing. But in all, we did go to the same high school. And I'll let Lola, tell you a little bit about how we met or whatever you may say.
All right, guys, I let him talk. I know some ladies were like, what the heck? Who does he think he is? So, yeah, my name is Lola. I'm 30 years old. I'm a social worker, also from Miami, Florida. Um, we own a business together. Like he mentioned, we're remaining faceless right now. We know you guys are probably going to do your research and try to put two and two together, but wanted to share a little background info, right, without giving too much, just so you can understand why, opposites attract, how we're together, right, how a couple can be married and have different views and things like that. It makes us very unique in that sense, right? Different backgrounds, different lifestyles, but we came together and we're able to do a business together. So we're like-minded in many ways. And so this background is just so that different listeners from all parts of the world, all parts of, careers and backgrounds could kind of relate to us or not relate to us and kind of see why I, Lola, might think a certain way versus why Jax might feel a certain way.
Yeah, so all in all, we just hope you guys, enjoy our, the content that we put out. Like I said, very minimum editing. We may come on camera, we may not. It's just different things and different situations. And we just hope you guys, grow with us. There's nothing more authentic than being a part of our first podcast. It's probably going to be about 5 of you guys watching, then it's gonna be like 10, then 20, and then the snowball effect. But you guys are the first, the very first to ever, kick it with us on the couch, kick it with us, at home. We got our two dogs right here, being annoying. But at the same time, we're just, trying to kick it off and have fun with you guys, a different little topic. So leave a comment, we're gonna respond. We're not gonna be fake, give us our
Subscribe to our channel.
first, time doing, audio or whatever. So it should be fun.
And full disclosure, guys, we are not claiming that we're experts in any topic. If we feel like we're experts at a certain topic, we'll disclose it. But we want to make it a very casual setting. We're not claiming to be know-it-alls or perfectionists by any means. Sharing our background of being high school sweethearts doesn't mean that we've had the most perfect relationship ever. I think that that's very important to disclose, right? Because a lot of people might interpret that the wrong way. So our intentions are always good. Um, our our vocabulary and our delivery. We aim the best to have a good delivery on this podcast, and not ruff anybody's feathers. But at the same time, um, full disclosure, we're gonna share to the best of our knowledge our authentic, real opinions on everything.
Yeah, and the thing was ruffle, not rough, but we'll leave that there. She said, you know,
Yeah.
she'll work on vocabulary, so I hope you guys caught that. But anyways, um, Lola, what do you think should be our first topic?
Yes. So, guys, I know everybody's on Instagram nowadays. I know everybody's on either Facebook, TikTok, now that it's back, or X/Twitter. Everybody's on some type of social media. Sorry, guys, about the background interference. Again, we're trying to be as authentic and as real as possible.
Yeah, I walked and let the dogs out. So.
Yeah, so we're filming in our house, but it's important to have security. But so yeah, everybody has some type of form of social media nowadays. I know everybody can relate that our grandparents now have, Instagram and Facebook. That wasn't a thing back then, but now everybody's having Instagram.
Wait, time out. So what's the topic?
Well, I'm getting there. Sorry. So the topic is, I know everybody's watching and seeing the Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni drama after the It Ends With Us film that debuted it in film a couple of months ago. And I know that that's the hype. That's what everybody's talking about. So that's what I want to discuss today. Since I have a man / my husband on set who can give us his opinion, right? As a man who might see or experience or have friends who have went through this type of thing. Me as a woman, right? Sexual harassment is very prevalent, unfortunately, in our society today. So I want to talk about It Ends With Us and the lawsuit that's going on between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. So Jax, do you know anything about it? Have you heard anything about it?
All right, so who is Blake Lively?
Okay, so Blake Lively is an actress, a movie star, / has her own hair care line as well. She's popular for, her most popular role is for Gossip Girl. Then it's a series on Netflix. She was also popular for the movie The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. So she's a well-known actress in Hollywood.
Okay, so I've heard of the Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. Like, I know I passed it going through a search guide through TV or whatever. But all right, so Blake Lively, is she married or dating someone? So that's probably how I would know her.
Yes, so Blake Lively, she's married to Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds is the guy who plays Deadpool.
Oh, see, there we go. Now I know what we're talking about. So Blake Lively, we saw a movie that she was in about a chef, right? The chef dude that liked her. You know, he was homeless. She snuck him in the house. He cooked food for her. He got beat up by her dad. Then she, they lost connection. She met with a dude that's the dude that she's suing, right?
So yeah, the movie that she debuted in is called It Ends With Us. Is based on a story that was written by Colleen Hoover. So it's based on a book that's about domestic violence, which is very important, right, to bring awareness to domestic violence and survivors of domestic violence. And so Colleen Hoover in this book, basically Blake Lively plays the main character, which is Lily Bloom, who is a domestic violence survivor in the movie. And she falls in love with Justin Baldoni, who basically plays Ryle, who is her partner who essentially abuses her in the movie.
So the dude who abuses her in the movie, she's saying abused her in real life now. Am I correct?
So the suit is like 60 pages, but from what I gathered, right, and what I read and from what I was listening to, one of the things that she's claiming is that he sexually harassed her on set.
All right, but they're supposed to be in love in the movie.
Correct, yeah. It's supposed to show how they met, how they fell in love.
Oh, maybe she got confused or, like, what? How did, she said sexual assault for what exactly? I don't know.
So basically they started filming the film in May of 2023. Due to the strikes that was going on with the AI stuff in Hollywood, they had to pause filming and they had to resume back in 2024. And then during the filming in 2024, what was happening is that Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively were going back and forth. He was hired as the director of the film. They had Colleen Hoover, who's the author of the book. They had her on set to kind of, help out or whatever and give her touch points since she's the one who wrote the book. But so he was hired to be the director of this film. And the rumor was, all since 2023, 2024, the rumor was that they were going back and forth because she was trying to tell him how to direct the film, but she wasn't the director on the film. She wasn't one of them. She was the main character. She's an actress on the film, but he was hired to be the director of the film. And so there was a lot of back and forth between them, allegedly, about how they envisioned some of the scenes to come about. From what I read, people are claiming that she wanted to focus more on the character being a survivor and not focusing on domestic violence and focusing on the fact that the character survived this ordeal, versus he wanted to really, during the promotion of the film, he wanted to promote the domestic violence survivors and everything that they went through. So they were clashing on how to promote the film. They were clashing on how to direct the film, and they were even clashing on some of the scene writing, which she wasn't hired to do that. They had another team that was in charge of that, and she had a problem with the scripts, and so they were even going back and forth with that. So that was the first conflict. What do you think about that touch point, about her and him going back and forth about the direction of the movie, directing the movie, and script writing?
I mean, that just sounds like normal teamwork. I mean, if you guys are going to partner with a film, no matter what role, if you guys are the main, I guess, the main visionaries or the main people that are involved in creating the scene or movie or script or however you may. I know you said she may not have been involved in supposedly the director. He has a higher role. He has the I guess the right of way in every conversation based on their obligations. But I just feel like she's a woman. Nowadays there's a lot of things where women can kind of they can work some of their powers in the industry in terms of just the Me Too movement and things like that. I'm not saying that it's right or wrong, but a lot of women feel like they have the right of way to just, insert their opinions and want to dominate different type of areas. But that goes in hand with males too. Like if he's a director, he could be a little pushy, just the nature of being the head boss. But I just feel like, based off what you're saying, I don't have, the total details, but I just feel like sounds like she's a little bit she's trying to get a little bit of control.
So let's go to the second point, because I want to digest every point that's been.
That was the only thing. I'm just saying. I'm just going off of based off you saying that.
Yeah, because I'm doing is
I'm going back and forth.
Correct. Yeah.
It's a man versus a woman. There's always going to be a little clash there, especially
Right. So that's what I want to do is dissect it into parts, because it's so much, and it really, really is a deep conversation that I think needs to be had in all type of industries and all type of relationships. One of the things that they were kind of disputing about and going back and forth about was that, like you said, right, sometimes in work relationships, depending on the hierarchy, depending on the position, people can clash, opinions can clash, that's normal. How do you feel about one of the things that he was complaining about was she got hired as an actress on the film, he got hired as a director. That's a work relationship. She then involved her husband in the dispute. One of the things that they're alleging is
her husband is Deadpool, right?
Her husband is Deadpool, so Ryan Reynolds.
Deadpool in the conversation. You know how Deadpool is, man. Deadpool is going to kick some ass.
Right. So how do you feel about you being a man, a husband in a relationship? How do you feel? Do you feel it's appropriate for a husband or even a wife or a significant other to get involved with opinions or even trying to insert himself or herself in a work conflict.
So you're saying that she, whatever they were disputing about certain things, she involved her husband and she told him things that she didn't like about the guy.
So she had him with one of the, allegedly, right? Everything's alleged because we weren't there. Allegedly, one of the things that she was claiming was that she didn't like some of the script writing that was done. So she gave it to her husband to rewrite or to fix, and she pitched it back to Justin Baldoni, the director. However, please note that Ryan Reynolds was never hired on
Yeah,
this
I
film
get
to
it.
do anything. So that's an important disclosure.
Yeah, so she's basically like, man, my opinion should be, taking, I guess you should go with my direction of this film or the script, whatever, because I'm Blake Lively. I've been there, done that. If you don't think I'm right, I even brought it to my husband, Mr. Deadpool, top guy, top dude. Everybody knows Ryan Reynolds, man. One of the best actors, funny guy, thriller, dramatic. He can do it all, But anyways, she told Ryan Reynolds, basically Ryan Reynolds put his input in. They, instead of her, working it out with the director, she worked it out with her husband and brought that content to him, the guy she's suing.
That was one of the issues before the lawsuit. So my question is, like, even on a press tour, she was one of the things, I quote, she
Sounds
put,
very,
nobody knows, but now you know, the iconic rooftop scene in the movie, my husband actually wrote it. That was one of the things that she said on a press tour. So that's my question. Do you think that there should be boundaries when it comes to your significant other and you at your workplace?
yeah. I mean, if okay, so basically, I think, all right. So if you're going through something as a woman in a workplace and you're having like a dispute with a man, I do think it's right to bring it to your husband. But with that being said, you're taking something professional into something private, which is, I mean, it could be, it could be kind of, I guess you could say, wrong in a sense, but at the same time, your partner should know exactly when you're getting triggered, when something's wrong, especially with the opposite sex. So, in my opinion, yeah, I think she should have went and got some advice from her husband. But I think it's wrong to take that advice from home and take that private advice into the professional world and display it as, oh, my husband is who her husband is. Of course, I know she's like, okay, this is Ryan Reynolds. He should have a say in what this script should be. I thought it was something nice. He agrees with me, so he knows he's been there. I've been there. I think that's wrong to bring that back and then to say that, if it was something, okay, you took his advice and you never said anything about it. You just, okay, you displayed it as yours, which in terms, was mine is yours, yours is mine, whatever. So she should have never brought his name up. It should have been, okay. It's nice that she did that privately, but that should have never came up, professionally.
I get it.
She
She
should have
shouldn't
just,
have. It's like she's name bombing, in your
yeah.
opinion.
First of all, it's hard for you to get it. I mean, first of all, you're in the wrong for even trying to change the script, I'm guessing. And then on top of that, you're bringing your husband in it who has nothing to do with it on top of you. It's just messy, just saying.
And I agree. One of the things that, and I quote, that she said at the premiere was, he works on everything I do. I work on everything he does. So his wins, his celebrations are mine, and mine are his.
Yeah, man. I just feel like, there's a type of wave that's going on where it's like, we're getting confused with things. Certain things should be private, and other things should be professional.
I get what you're saying. Like, as a man and as a husband, it's your duty, right, to protect and provide, right? And so if I come to you with a problem and you give me advice,
Yeah,
that advice, I internalize that advice, and I act appropriately at my job without having to name bomb you,
yeah,
without having to involve you, without having you. Allegedly, he showed up at some of the filming during her work hours.
yeah. That's wrong.
That's wrong, right? That's what I think. I think as a husband and as a partner, right, you can support, you can protect. Now, I understand it's different, right? If, like, I tell you, oh, another man, physically assaulted me or something like that, then I would understand him storming, right, during filming and showing up. But again, that's not professional either, right? You can handle that with authorities or different ways, right? But again, like you said, in this situation, it was kind of like creative differences. And when we have creative differences and you're hired to do a job, if your husband's not involved in the writing process, he's not even an actor on the movie, just because he's Ryan Reynolds and he has a very notorious background and experience, doesn't mean you take the private advice he gives you and try to like forcibly insert him to the equation at the workplace,
Yeah.
forcibly have him come on set. In my opinion, that's kind of an intimidation tactic, right? If you're a director, this guy Justin Baldoni, he's known for big roles like Jane the Virgin. It was a show that I really loved, but he's not a big time director yet. And it was actually one of his biggest movies that he was in charge of. And I can't even imagine, if I put myself in his shoes, um, I'm trying to do my job. I'm trying to make it. I'm a minority. I just got, hired to do this film that's supposed to be huge. It's a huge book with Colleen Hoover. And here comes Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool, Marvel, big shot, and tries to tell me what to do and tries to give me his opinion when I didn't even ask for it. So, as a man, if you're Justin Baldoni, how are you feeling, Jax? If another woman's husband comes on set, ultimately trying to give you pointers on how to direct when you didn't even ask.
Yeah, well, I'm back. I had to let the dog back in. You guys might have heard the noise. We're going to, work on that, be more professional. But like I said, we're just kicking on the counts right now. I'm glad you guys are tuning in with us. And yeah, so basically, if I was, the new director and your husband is coming on set, I would definitely feel like this is not professional. I would feel that you're being super childish and entitled. We can always go back and forth on the script or whatever. You're a part of the set. I'm always going to take your opinion into consideration, but at the same time, I was appointed director for a reason. I'm here for a reason, and if you're a paid actress, we see your vision, we know what you're saying, so I can try to implement certain things. But your husband, I understand who he is, I understand what he represents, but at the same time, yeah, I'll be totally pissed. I'll have to keep it professional, but I will literally have her husband escorted off the premises if possible. Certain situations, I know you don't want to get blackballed or whatever, but if it was aggression or anything like that, yes, I'm removing myself, or I'm trying to remove your husband off the set. Period.
Yeah, I feel like when somebody forcibly tries to, like, this man got hired to direct the film. Let's respect his position, right? You can have creative differences, but one thing is to have a creative difference, and the other is to try to force your opinion or your creative critiques onto another person who has already earned the position as director of the film. I just feel like there has to be boundaries, right? We shouldn't be involving family or spouses into the creative process at the workplace, right? If they're not hired to do so. One of the things that was really big was the text messages that Baldoni's attorneys released to kind of reflect and dispute Blake's allegations against him. One being that she said that she was breastfeeding at her trailer and he forcibly came in unannounced after she asked him to leave. His attorney released text messages where she invited him to his trailer to go over the script while she was breastfeeding. So that kind of, refutes that theory or that accusation. But one of the biggest things that was released in the text messages that I wanted to discuss with you was her references to Game of Thrones. Jax is a huge Game of Thrones fan. And to her, essentially, kind of the theme that we were talking about, the name bombing, where she brought in Ryan Reynolds. one in the text message, and I'm trying to pull it up, but just from what I remember that was shown, it was like he was basically telling her, "Hey, I appreciate your input. I appreciate your creative critique and why you might not agree with this scene, but you didn't have to do that. You could have done that yourself instead of um, bringing in Taylor and Ryan Reynolds." So what does that mean? So basically, she's best friends with Taylor Swift. A lot of people don't know that. Blake Lively and Taylor Swift are best friends. Taylor Swift is a huge pop star. If you don't know who she is, um, who is probably one of the biggest
Yeah, I
stars
know
in
Taylor Swift.
2025, right? And so one of the things in the text messages that was kind of produced, right, was that he basically told her like he wanted to meet with her to discuss the script and why she didn't agree with it and why she wanted to rewrite it. He didn't want to use her script. He wanted to use the script that he selected. And so he was like, let's have a meeting, let's discuss it like a professional meeting. And she brought Taylor Swift and Ryan Reynolds to the creative meeting without telling him.
Yeah, that's
And
unprofessional.
that's unprofessional. So yeah, what are your thoughts on that? Because one of the things that he was saying in the text message was, "I respect your opinion. You didn't have to bring Taylor
Yeah,
Swift." And
exactly, man. I mean, you're bringing in, you know what I mean? You're bringing in Taylor Swift, who's arguably what the top pop artist of this generation, and
right,
then you bringing in Ryan Reynolds, who's one of the top actors of the last generation of this generation. Have you may look? I'm not sure how old he is, but I've been seeing him since what 2000 and what one, you know, and it's what 2025, and he's still Deadpool right now.
correct.
So I mean, it's just bringing in two heavy hitters in the industry, and you're already upset with me, and you're going to have these guys sitting in on the meeting while you're grilling me, and I'm your director. Technically, your boss, and yeah, man, the Drag of Throne. The wait, no, we said the Game of Thrones, whatever. That type of analogy with the dragons. What she said there?
Yeah,
What she
that's
said?
what that's what I'm trying to pull up.
She said
So
dragons like that. She said Taylor Swift and Ryan Reynolds were like the dragons, and
were
she
her
was
dragons and she was Khaleesi.
yeah, Khaleesi. So yeah, so basically she's basically man, these are two heavy hitters, and I can make them strike at any time. So Taylor Swift can ruin your career. Ryan Reynolds can ruin your career just based off a tweet. Yeah, she's basically saying it's my way because I have the power, basically. So you go with me, play nice with me, or I'll make these dragons burn you at any moment. Yeah, that's very intimidating. And yeah, and she's the one suing him, and she's saying all this. That's great.
So that text message, right, was a text message that he released to kind of show like
Sheesh.
why they were having differences creatively, because he's like, listen, we don't have to agree all the time, but we don't have to involve outside people. I respect your opinion without you involving outside people. So basically, like, even like the production team were texting Baldoni, and people were going back and forth because she was just giving people a hard time on set, is what they're
Yeah,
saying, and she wasn't okay with the text. Now, to the sexual
she's hard to
harassment,
work with.
yes, that's what people were claiming. So to get to the main point, which is the sexual harassment.
Yeah,
So I sent you a video on Instagram of them on scene filming
yeah,
an intimate scene in the movie, which is when Ryle and Lily Bloom are slow dancing at a bar or something, and they kind of have to, act as actors and actresses and act like they're in love and romantically dance and whatnot. In the lawsuit, she alleges that he whispered in her ear, "You smell so good," and that was a form of sexual harassment. I don't know if you remember in the video that I guess she didn't know when she had her lawyer draft that lawsuit, but Justin Baldoni's lawyer was able to get the footage of that scene, and their microphones were on. And so we, the viewers, got to hear what was actually said. Do you remember watching that video? What are your thoughts, and did you hear what was said?
yeah. I mean, I don't remember what was said exactly. I just know they were like close, fooling around, basically saying things like, "Yeah, they can't read our lips, but we're saying things that are different, whatever." But basically, wasn't like flirting, but they were playing around, joking because it was a close scene. They had to be damn near kissing. It was one of those slow, romantic comedy, dramatic. No, I'm just playing, but yeah, it was one of those slow scenes where they're dancing, face to face. Should I kiss you? Should I not? Nose to nose type things, and they were just saying it's kind of awkward doing this, but they were joking around, right?
Right, exactly. So during that video, and you guys can get that video anywhere on social media, but during that video, what they're basically trying to get the best scene. She's like, "This is the best lighting." He's like, "No, this side." They're laughing, and then he brings up, because they're both married, and it can be uncomfortable, I'm sure, to be married and have to, like, even though you've been doing it for years, but to pretend you're in love with somebody else and be acting. So he was like, one of the things that I do with my wife is that we stare at each other like super corny for hours. And she was like, "Oh yeah, me and Ryan do that too." And like, whatever, they were talking about what they do while doing it on set to, like, basically kind of mirror what they do with their spouses for the movie. And then they get closer because they have to pretend that they're like embracing each other and kissing each other. And she tells him, "Oh, I'm sorry, like I'm really sweaty," or something like that. And he's like, "Oh, it's okay. You actually smell good." And she was like, "Oh, it has to be the skin makeup or something, like the lotion, the body makeup. There we go. It's the body makeup." And then he was like, "It's fine." Like, she said a comment like she was embarrassed, like if he smelled her or whatever. And she was like, "No, it's fine. You smell good." And then he was like, "I'm sorry about my nose. I know I have a big nose," because he had to rub her nose. And she was like making jokes about his nose. So it was like innocent, like joking.
Yeah.
And to the point that once, like, they're doing it for such a long period of time, he's like, "All right, cut." And then you can hear him say, "Cut, scene over." And so in the suit, she's alleging that him whispering in her ear and saying that is sexual harassment. So how do we feel about that, Jack?
So that's the lawsuit, sexual harassment.
That's one of the main things. He's claiming walking into her trailer unannounced while she's breastfeeding. She's saying that's sexual harassment as well.
But she told him to come by.
Correct. So his attorney was able to provide evidence that she invited him over.
Yeah.
Then, lastly, one of the other things that's big is he got back surgery before the film, and he's been in physical therapy. She just gave birth. He had to basically get certain scenes approved by his trainer and his doctor. One of the things that they said is no heavy lifting. So the doctor asked him, "If you're going to be lifting anybody in a scene, we need to know how much they weigh." He conveyed that information to her and her team, that his doctors, due to his surgery, needed to know her weight. She also put that in the lawsuit as harassment and acting inappropriately by weight shaming her. Yeah. How do you feel about that?
I mean, he told you guys I have a bad back. I need to know how much you weigh to see if it's safe for me to do it. So, I mean, that's
you think it's
that's
appropriate?
A haphazard, man. I have to know how much you weigh. Like, what is this?
Do you think it's appropriate to ask a woman how old she weighs?
Yeah, if I have a bad back and I have to lift you, of course.
For professional reasons, right? Yeah. It's not really fat shaming.
For health reasons. Shoot.
I agree with you too. I feel like if we're working in a professional environment, I just got surgery. This is what my doctor is saying. I provide you evidence that I have that. I'm not asking you in a way to taunt you or make you feel bad. I'm asking you because it's literally for my health. It's for my doctor to clear me so that I'm able to work and I can have this clearance to do this film. So I do feel like that claim, along with the scene claim, I think it's an abuse of power. I think based off what I'm seeing, what I'm reading, and what I'm hearing right so far, I feel like it's a false accusation. And I feel it's that way because the only reason she's doing these lawsuits, which is something I didn't mention to you, is because she's saying that he purposely ran a smear campaign against her to make her look bad during the promotion of the film. Why is she saying that? Because she received backlash because when this movie came out, people are thinking you're supposed to promote domestic violence. That's what the theme of the movie's out, to bring awareness to domestic violence. When the movie came out, she started marketing and promoting her hair care line. And so people got upset with that, like survivors of domestic violence and fans got upset with that. And Justin Baldoni was promoting domestic violence and survivors. And so when people asked her, hey, why are you promoting your hair care line? What about domestic violence? Her response was, and I'm not quoting it, but something along the lines, because I saw the interview, oh, I wanted to focus more on the happiness of the movie, that Lily survived. I don't want to focus so much on the dark stuff and the domestic violence. Yes, the domestic violence is real, but I want to focus on the lighter side of her surviving. She's more than being a survivor. She's more than being a victim. That was kind of her theme and her excuse for promoting her hair care brand during the promotion of the film. Versus Justin Baldoni was focused on the survivors, giving them a voice, giving them a platform. And so she received backlash for that. And so she blamed and provided some type of evidence that his PR firm hired bots to write negative comments under her pictures and her stuff, tainting her reputation, and kind of ultimately blaming him and saying, oh, I wouldn't have bad press for the movie if it wasn't for you.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Yeah, man. I mean, long story short, she's a bitch.
What?
Yeah,
Let's be appropriate.
I mean, that is appropriate. I don't know. I mean, she seems like a. I mean, when she has great work. You know, she's good at what she do. Anytime I see her in the movie, I think she did excellent. But yeah, literally, she was been in the game for over 10? I know over a decade, right? Track
Correct.
pants
Yes.
had to be like when I was in fifth grade or something.
Correct.
So I mean, people get entitled, and now, I mean, you gotta think about it. She's been in the game when this Me Too movement wasn't around, things like that. She probably had to endure. God knows what she had to endure. Sexism. She probably had to deal with sexual harassment in the past, and now a lot of people feel like they have a voice, and sadly, a lot of people take advantage of that. I think she just, she's been in the game for a while. She's entitled. She's a class actress. She's every movie. I know you talk about her and things, you love her and things like that. So I know a lot of women around the world feel the same way you do. So I just feel like she abuses her power, and with these times where women can easily accuse men of anything, of the smallest thing. Me being a man, I have to walk around on eggshells as well. So I understand, women can literally lie about anything. And especially when you're Blake Lively and you have two, like she said, two dragons, Ryan Reynolds, Taylor Swift on your side. You can make anything believable. You can make any campaign, the end all be all to someone's career. And she literally seemed like she was trying to, put an end to his career, which is sad. So I don't know.
So, full disclosure, guys, like he said, I'm a huge fan of Blake Lively. I'm also a fan of Justin Baldoni after Jane the Virgin. He did an excellent job on that show. Blake is a phenomenal actress as well. Just my opinion is going off of what I'm seeing, the text messages that are being released, the affidavits. I'm going off of that. I'm not in court. I'm not gonna be there during the trial. So if there's information that I've missed or I didn't read, then I do apologize, but I'm just going off of what I'm presenting here to Jax with you guys. And if I'm just going based off what I have read, seen, and heard as of this point today, I think that she is abusing her power. I think what happened is she was embarrassed essentially that she got caught using a platform that was supposed to be for domestic violence survivors, and used it to her benefit to promote her hair care line. She wanted to make money. I get it. People want to make money. They have a product that's releasing, a brand that's releasing, but there's a time and a place to do that. And I think her trying to sneak that in to the promotion of the film didn't sit well with people, right? And so she didn't get the response that she wanted to get. And as a result, she needs somebody to blame. And so that's what I think happened there. I think it's unfortunate that she picked that person to be Justin. And it's unfortunate that Ryan Reynolds is getting, it's his wife, but getting involved to the point where now he's being dragged and all that stuff.
Yeah. So basically, that was long-winded. I'm just saying. So we have to cut that off, man. what I'm gonna say is, guys, if you're a woman, I feel like, especially in the workplace, you shouldn't try to, bring things that you talk about or whatever. All right, let me rephrase that. If you're a woman, it's okay to bring things from work home, but you should never display your emotions that you get from home at work. So if you go home and you say, "Hey, man, my boss has to give me a hard time. He wants me to write this special formula to how to solve the problems in IT, and I don't know, whatever the crap, whatever whatever problem that you may have at work, you bring it home to your husband or your wife. You shouldn't take their thoughts and tell your boss, "Hey, my husband told me that." That's just unprofessional, man. Your boss doesn't care about who your husband is. He hired you, not your husband. It's okay to take that outlook from your husband, to take his opinion, use that, translate it to yours, combine it, and then, work on a resolution. But don't tell your boss, don't tell your coworker the resolution that you and your husband came up with. Just display it as yours and go forward.
Yeah, I just think, ladies, like, and we are 100% advocates for survivors of sexual harassment, domestic violence, all that stuff. But I think that you can have creative differences at the workplace, but let's not force outside people, whether your husband, your mother, your sister, your friend, just because they may be a notorious actress or actor or famous person, or just even a well renowned educator. Let's not involve them and force them and bring them into your workspace. I just think that that's unprofessional, like Jack said. It's inappropriate. It's honestly uncomfortable. Like, I'm kind of cringing at the thought of, like, me being Justin Baldoni, showing up to a meeting with my co-star, thinking it's a one-on-one meeting, and here's Taylor Swift and Ryan Reynolds. If that's not an intimidation tactic, I don't know what is. I would be like, wait, what? First of all, I'd be confused. Like, why are they here? We agreed to meet. Why are they reading scripts? This guy didn't get hired to do this. Why is he seeing everything? Like, this should be a workplace thing. So again, not to say that sexual harassment and all that stuff doesn't exist, but to use that uh, to kind of bully somebody and falsely accuse them just because you're upset that they didn't take your creative input or critiques and do what you wanted to do in the movie is messed up. And it's so sad, right, Jax, that all of this happened for a movie that is supposed to hold so much weight in society, right? In relationships and violence and things that are going on. It's sad that she couldn't even look past, like, hey, maybe let me put my pride to side and shut up, and let me just, support the director, because the meaning and the symbolism of the movie is much stronger than what I want to do and what I think, right?
Yeah,
How selfish is that?
she's totally ruining the movie. I mean, I saw the movie. I didn't know nothing about it, but when I saw it, I was entertained by it, and I was looking forward to a number two. The chef dude was at the end. Does he end up with her? What happens to the husband, the abusive husband? But now I may not even get that movie because Blake Lively wants to be, the wicked witch. You know what I mean? I don't get it, man. You know what I mean? So I believe that Blake Lively has ruined a sequel that should go down as one of the best what is called romantic dramas
It's
with
considered a
Talona.
romance
Yeah,
drama.
whatever, a chick flick. It was gonna be one of the another entertaining chick flick that I would watch. That I would recommend. But now Blake Lively wants to be the showboat. She wants to be the boss, and she's gonna ruin it for everybody, man. And it's sad that a movie that's supposed to symbolize something so beautiful in terms of surviving and getting over it, overcoming triumph, especially as a woman, and to know that the main character who's playing the innocent survivor is literally the abusive.
Abusing another person
Yeah, man, she's not abusive.
legally
She's abusive, man.
by
The woman
filing
is doing
a
the abuse, is doing the abusing, and then the guy that you hate for being abusive is being abused, man. You're contradicting the movie based off
The
your
movie
lawsuit,
plot,
man. It's
yeah,
just
by
not. It
filing
just
a what they
tears it
call
up.
a frivolous lawsuit is what
Come
it's
on,
called.
man. We want you to be the survivor. He's the bad guy. Now he's the survivor and you're the bad guy. It's a
The,
bad look for women, all in all, man.
the
We love the
irony.
Me Too movement, but it's a perfect example of how women can take advantage of the system. Unfortunately, you women out there need to do better. No, I'm just playing. Lola do better by the women. Be a better example. Everybody should be a better example. Everybody should be more like Jax. You know what I'm saying? Should be out there. You know you should go and attack your workplace and your work day and just take orders, man. Take orders and be a team player. And when it's time for you to give orders, you give orders, but always know your role.
And
I'm joking,
I
but
feel
yeah,
so
something
bad
like
for
that.
the author of the book. This was her dream to have her
Oh
book
yeah.
come out in a
Nobody cares
movie.
about what the author has to say. You didn't even
The,
mention the author. Who is she?
so I did in the beginning. You missed it. Colleen Hoover is a well-renowned author. You guys probably know she has several books. There is a sequel. And one of the things that they asked her, like, who are you siding with? At first, she was siding with Blake, but then after
They
Justin
messed up her
Baldoni,
sequel, man.
after Justin Baldoni released the evidence, she deleted her Instagram, deleted everything, and I think they caught her like somewhere, and she was giving an interview, and she was like, it's really unfortunate right now what's going on, but I'd rather leave it in the court of law for it to be handled. But it's really unfortunate because she was like, I have no say because she doesn't own the rights to the movie, only to her book.
Well, hey, that's how it goes, man. That's how the cookie crumbles. But it's getting a little late. The dogs are being menaces and now they're winding down. I think this would be the perfect time to leave this here. I think our first podcast was successful. And thank you for tuning in to
Thank you
the
for
Even
tuning
So
out.
project. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, guys. Thank you for tuning into the Even So podcast. Like we said, we appreciate you guys. Stay safe, and we're looking forward to having more deep conversations.
Yeah, like I said, man, it's authentic. We're on the counts, man. We don't really have cool catchphrases yet, but we'll grow with you guys, and it'll catch on. Everything's gonna be authentic. It's gonna be like 4 or 5 of you that watch this. So, hey, man, this is very intimate. I want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for surviving an hour or 30 minutes or 40 minutes. I don't know how long.
49 minutes.
49 minutes. Wow. Hearing Lola talk for 49 minutes, you guys deserve an award. So thank you for being here, listening to us. I'm joking, but thank you for listening to us, man. I appreciate you guys, and yeah, until next time.
Stay safe.